Hello everyone. Okay, might take these off. How's everyone going? Can you guys hear the music? I stupidly started the stream. Also, I can hear myself. What if I turn off the desktop audio? Can you guys hear me twice? It's fine now. Okay, so was it the desktop audio? Because I can still hear myself twice. That has never happened. Let me quickly investigate. You hear your voice, no background music. Yeah, but I want for you guys to hear both the music and my voice. It's been working fine for like years now. Okay, how about now? I'm so sorry guys this is happening. I updated my OBS and it must have messed with my settings. Okay, I just don't want you guys to hear me twice, so I'm gonna turn up the music and you guys tell me if you can hear me twice. Model a character without mirror mode? Yeah, that would be fun. Hello Bobby, hello Nageshwa, hello Mine. Oh, I can't read it. My Mr. Help. Hi, we're Maddie. Селя, привет, привет. У меня проблемы со звуком сегодня. Клух. Hi, everyone. Sorry, it's a bit of a rocky start today. Happy Valentine's Day. It's not. Oh, it's not Valentine's Day yet. It's 2 days away. Bit too early. Can you please tell me if you can hear me twice so I can try to fix it, or if it's okay, then I'll move on. Do you mean it works, or it's fine as it is? Where are you from? I'm from Moldova. I can hear you perfectly fine, no doubling, but no music. That's so weird. Oh, you know what, guys? I'm just being stupid. I think I figured it out. Close. Now there shouldn't be any doubling. You know what happened? I opened YouTube on my phone and copied the link from YouTube to post it to my Instagram story and Telegram. And then, at least what iPhones do, when you lock it, it still plays the video. So I locked it and it was sitting next to me, and I was assuming I was hearing my second voice through the headphones. So I'm glad that's not the case anymore. I can just move on with sculpting. Okay. Everyone, welcome. My name is Layla, if you don't know. I'm a 3D character artist working in the animation industry. Let me pull up my brushes. Just realized they're hidden. And this is the concept that I picked, I think like 2 months ago, and we've been working at it every 2 weeks or so, but I took a small break from streaming. So I haven't seen you guys for 3 weeks. So, this is the guy. A lovely little goblin. I think we agreed that he was like, not a bokoblin, but basically there's like a whole chart of goblin or sub-goblin race. And there was like a sub-goblin race that matched this guy. Let me turn off color. I think I'm gonna work without color today. And then we'll put it back on at the end. I'll leave the eyes on. Hey Layla, hi Fabiano. Welcome, welcome. A face only the character artist can love. I love this guy. Yeah. I don't know, there's just so much in his expression. I'm gonna quickly load some brushes. Yeah, this one. So in the meantime, while I work on this guy, feel free to ask any questions. As always, I'll do my best to answer them. You'll also see me jumping around in the whole model, because currently it's sort of in the last 20%. Like, most of the stuff is there. It's just polish that needs to be done. Obviously some work on the hat, and if you can't see the concept clearly, I can load it up here. That's weird. That's not supposed to be grayed out, is it? Interesting. What if I load a spotlight? Yeah, this one works fine. Okay. So that's the concept. That's our guy. He's missing stitches on his handmade hat. Also missing some like secondary and tertiary details, which we'll add. How many days you take to model a simple character means it depends upon complexity, but I'm talking about normal characters. Again, what do you mean by normal character? It can be a normal character for a mobile game that doesn't need that many details as a AAA game character or a cinematic character. So what do you mean by normal? Because they will take different amount of time. Also, I'm using my reference board on the other screen, so you'll see me glancing at it quite often. Some chimps, some really cool old man portrait studies, some leather, some orcs, some scars. And I encourage you to build a reference board whenever you start a new project, because it's just, yeah, a crucial part of the process, at least for me. Okay, let's adjust the size on this curved tube brush. That. And in Picker, you have to hit constant Z so it will snap properly. So if your curve brush ever doesn't snap properly, that's probably why. Now it snaps too well. What we could do is hit 6 on your keyboard a couple of times, actually hold it down, and what it does, if I replay it, it smooths it out. So that was before. As you can see, I'm like replaying back the history. So the more I hit 6, the straighter the line becomes. I don't know if you guys can see. That's a fast way to straighten out the curve, or smooth out the curve, I should say. Okay, no more questions so far. Also, do you guys prefer to see the chat or not see the chat? Because I know it can occupy quite a bit of space. But honestly, I don't mind. Can bring it up. Let me know if it's too much, I'll turn it off. Hi, I'm here. How's it going? Then at the end of the stream I can show you guys a new project that I'm working on. If you guys want. Fun one. So for those who don't know, I'm a character artist in the animation industry. And I haven't really worked on games as much. So I wanted to practice my game topology, baking and real-time rendering. Because it seems to be the future, the whole Unreal thing. Getting better and better. Don't want to get left behind. Do you guys use Unreal or any real-time renders? Like Marmoset, Unity? What I'm looking at right now is a really good book called Form of the Head and the Neck by Anatomy for Sculptors. It's like this. And I'm just looking for... No? Okay. Yeah, for references of like of older people and how the fat forms and like how the whole face kind of sags down. That would be nice. Yeah, this sort of stuff. I think I'm gonna keep it. And a lot of people ask me, how do I learn anatomy? That would be the way, by reading books and like observing good anatomy studies, 3D scans, stuff like that. Do you model stalls? What do you mean? What is stalls? I also love 3D games. Cool. Oh, this guy again. I missed previous stream and of course I didn't touch him since the first stream. Oh no, you should. It's so much fun to do though. I use Unreal. Awesome. You use it for personal projects or commercial as well? I'm just curious. Like, do you use it at work? Trying Unreal right now, it handles metallic shading differently than my native modeler, so it is a learning curve. Okay. Well, I'll have to learn it as well. Is it a different, whatchamacallem, rendering workflow, like not PBR? It should be PBR, right? No? I use Marmoset and also a little bit of Unreal Engine. It seems Unreal Engine is this thing to put time into learning right now for game and visual effects production for sure. That's why I'm picking it up. Plus, isn't it free? Well, at least some version of it is free. Not saying that a good software shouldn't cost money, because obviously developers worked on it and still work on it to improve it each year. But when you are starting to work, well, when you do work in a professional 3D environment, you'll find yourself paying for so many softwares. It can break your bank account. Trying out this new thing when I don't smooth out stuff straight away, which is really hard for me, because if you've seen my portfolio, you can check it out. If you haven't, it's mostly comprised of stylized characters that don't have as much tertiary and secondary definition in the sculpts. And it does require a lot of smoothing. But yeah, as I said, trying something new. I'm making a multiplayer game of it. Awesome. What kind of game is it? Is it like base building, survival? If we have to make a portfolio, how much hour and weeks we have to spend on that? Are you starting from 0? Because if you are, then it will take more than a week and might be more than a month or 2 months. If you have like no artworks that are worth displaying, and I know it sounds harsh, but there are you have to be very strict with yourself when it comes to what you show off in your official portfolio, like on ArtStation or your personal website. Don't use Instagram as your portfolio. It's more of a casual display of your art space where you can upload anything you want. That's fine. For ArtStation, however, I would say projects that take more than a week or 2 should be displayed with like either full production, or even if I were to take this busts are okay on ArtStation, I reckon, but they need to show off some sort of technical skill. You can have some quick sculpts and stuff that don't have any proper pipeline that was used for them. Like, I mean, topology, baking, UVs, texturing, lighting, grooming. But it's very important, it's crucial to show off some projects that do have the full character pipeline. Otherwise, how will employer know that you don't only know how to sculpt in ZBrush and that's it? There are very few positions in the industry that just require that. You have to like know the pipeline quite well. Okay, so I'm gonna add a layer. I know it doesn't quite answer your question, but it can take as long as like 3 months sometimes to finish one project, and unfortunately one project is not enough for a good portfolio. Like, it's a good start, don't get discouraged, but you need at least 3 or 4 solid artworks. That's my opinion. Some might say you need 10, and some might say that 2 is enough. I've spent a few paychecks on software. Yeah, that sounds about right. Have you seen the Alt-Tux plugin for rendering in Unreal Engine? It looks pretty cool. Pablo had it in his recent stream. No, I haven't. I'll check it out though. What is Pablo up to? That guy, oh my god. He's so cool. Always trying something new. Just adding a few more folds here and there. Maybe we could mirror this one. First of all, delete the layers, mirror, then reconstruct layers. Maybe we could make it a little bit more asymmetrical with the, was it clip brush? Yeah. Yeah, so what it does, it doesn't destroy the topology, but kind of like squishes the thing down. I just want to add it to one of the sides. Obviously we don't see it on the concept. Why not? So yeah, we can still retain subdivision levels. Not saying it's a proper way to do it. Like, if you were to properly model it, or retopologize it, you'd have to give it good topology. But this will do as a high poly. Plus we're just exploring new concepts. So that's fine. Yep, that will do for now. Physics-based sports game. Sounds cool. Thankfully, some softwares give you everything for free if you have a school email. Doesn't even matter what you're studying. Yeah, some will. However, be wary of that, because if you ever do freelance with big companies, you get hired by them. Obviously, well, it's not obviously, but at times you'll have to work from your own PC, most of the time as a freelancer. And if you ever take the files, bring them into your school-based software, and then do some work on it and send it back over, the studio will be able to see that you're still using the the school license, which is a little bit unprofessional if you are in the industry. But if you're still a student, it's totally fine. It's one thing that I added bugs me. Yeah, that's better. So how's the music going? Trying out something new, but if you guys don't like experimental jazz, then I can bring back the lo-fi vibes. I don't mind. Ugh. Don't quite like that feature. I just turned off cam view. Can't see it because there's a concept in the way. But sometimes you'll click on it and it will like send you off flying with your model. Which I personally find annoying, but I do know some people use it to move around the model. I'll turn on backface masking. Push this fold a bit closer to this one. And by the way, all of this is being recorded on my layer. So when I turn it off, you'll see what I've done. Maybe I don't like everything that I've done. So what I could do is turn off the layer, go to morph target, and store morph target. Now, in the layers, turn the layer back on and activate it. Oh, color. Okay. Now hit B, M, and G. Now you have the morph target brush, and you can paint out the stuff that you don't like so much. So it's basically like a history recall brush, or an eraser in Photoshop, or a mask in Photoshop. So yeah, let's say I like it this much. Awesome. It does this funny thing when it turns on the poly paint when you turn on the layer, so you can just quickly switch it off. Oh, the concept you're doing is by Mira Petrov. It is indeed. I'm working on the Keeper of the Gemstones by Mira. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, here you go. Concept by Mira. I forgot to turn it on. I had it on last stream. Cool. Yeah, if you guys don't know, Miro is amazing. Oops. Sorry, accidentally closed the tab of the music. Miro Petro. Here he is. What did you say? The gemstones? The Keeper of the Gemstones. Let me guess which one that is. That's the concept that I chose. Really good stuff. Yeah, I can't see. There's just so much. I mean, I can cheat. Ah, this guy. Yeah, really good concept too. You'll need to do a lot of hair though. I hope you're not afraid. Experimental is cool. Awesome. Experimental jazz, it all sounded like epic fantasy music. Did I turn on a different channel by accident? It said, well, right now it's chill jazz. Yeah, I might have turned on the League of Legends inspired track then, because I was choosing between the two. And I'm using Pretzel Rocks for everyone who is wondering where I'm getting my music from. I have a free account option as well if you're a streamer or if you just like this music. They have a ton of tracks to choose from, not sponsored, just like their service. Okay, I feel like I want to make it a bit thicker. And this one too. Just ever so slightly. Raise this layer of leather. I was wondering because I forgot to add one thing on the blockout face. I was wondering if I could do it with just a brush. Yeah, potentially. I need history recall brush IRL so I can erase wrinkles, and then I get injured, I erase the injury later. But first of all, don't get injured. Second of all, I don't know. I feel like when I'll start getting older, and I am starting to get older physically, just slow, I'll just admire all the wrinkles because it'll be such a good ref for sculpting. At least I like to believe that I will. I'm not all that thrilled about all the gray hair that I get at the age of 23. But hey, wrinkles, good ref. So what I'm doing right now is just adding a bit of volume to the lever. Just something that I observed from the concept and some of my references too. Okay. Ooh, by the way, I started watching The Last of Us, the TV show. We talked on one of the streams that I finished playing the game, well, the first part anyway. Really enjoyed it. Also made me low-key depressed. But isn't that what good games are supposed to do? Evoke like very strong emotional feeling out of you. It doesn't necessarily have to be good emotional feeling, positive emotional feeling. But yeah, anyway, started the show. It hits you hard, in some moments even harder than the game did. No spoilers, I'm halfway through. But yeah, really good so far. Near the top, and I cheated, I'm sorry. Play some metal. There is a metal, kind of like list of tracks, but I don't think that's the vibe, especially at 6 AM when I start to stream, 6:30. Not a huge metal fan. So Justin's saying, so far I concepted the hair in fiber mesh. Working with fiber mesh is like herding cats. Oh wow, I mean, I applaud to you for trying to do stuff with fiber mesh. I've seen some good stuff done though. Especially, what was it? Not Chris Costa, but another. I think Jan Spring was one of them. Makes the portraits, like the hyper realistic portraits, and I've seen them use fiber mesh. Just crazy impressive. I might have mispronounced Jan's name. Ian Spring. It's just Yan in my native language. Okay, but yeah, I feel of the comparison to herding cats. The League inspired track was fine. I preferred it due to the subject and bias to fantasy, but the jazz is good too. That is actually true. Let's see if I can find it. So you guys can tell me if this was what you were listening to, because I take off my headphones because I want you guys to hear the music, but I don't want myself to hear the music because of how loud it is in my ears. So let's try out League of Legends inspired Station on Pretzel Rocks. And yeah, it is a valid argument that it's a fantasy inspired sculpt, so might as well. I want to do something with this spot that annoys me. I plan to do the full hair in XGen at the end. Cool. Can you transfer fiber mesh to XGen? Because I've never done that pipeline. I usually block out the hair with just spheres and I like polish them, trim dynamic them, pull out the shapes that I want, and then I use it as a base mesh, as like a reference mesh for XGen or Yeti or any other hair plugin. I seen you in Ian Robinson's stream on Friday. Yay! Yeah, love Ian. Great guy. Really talented. Yeah, I try to stop by when I can. There's just a huge time difference. Ian is in States and I'm in New Zealand and we have 19-hour difference. So when I can catch a stream of one of my fellow streamers from the channel, I do that. I'm beginner, so is it good I grab some stuff on ArtStation sculpted even the concept is not human? Well, whatever draws you in, really. Do you like sculpting creatures? It's okay. You can be a creature artist. You don't have to be... Well, it depends. Sometimes humans and creatures go hand in hand, but for some positions, it's only like monsters and animals and stuff, and anything in between. So I'd say just do what you want. This is a humanoid, but it's not a human, you know? Still kind of a creature. And it's okay to do that. It's a metal looking head. Metal looking head. What do you mean? Привет, привет, 823 MAG. У вас такие интересные у всех никнеймы. Yesterday was the first time trying to use XGen to do hair, and I did it, and I did not enjoy it at all. Yeah, wait until... Oh, I don't want to say it, but I feel like everyone must have at least one negative experience with XGen. I'm sorry, Maya, or whoever developed it. But if you dare to rename anything in the source files, or do any shenanigans with like outliner structure of XGen, oh my, everything works fine until you save it and you don't touch it for a day, and you open it and everything's broken. That's what annoys me about XGen most of the time. Like, the software itself is very capable, and I've seen amazing stuff done in it. That is not to say that it's not bugged, it's heavily bugged. And I haven't seen it be updated recently, unless I missed something. The hair would not form the way I wanted it. Yeah, I mean, out of all the hair plugin software, I'd say XGen's got the most control with the guides in the way that you manipulate them. I have not tried Ornatrix, but I have heard it's really good. Oh, actually, I'm lying. The best one was Houdini. The best experience with hair was in Houdini. I guess second comes Yeti, and then XGen. I just prefer node-based software, if you didn't notice the trend. Perhaps we could throw some noise to break it up. Might be too fine at the moment though. Maybe I'll do it a little bit later. I'm just throwing in some lines, spraying them out, looking for happy accidents, and then using my morph brush to erase the stuff that I don't want. Yeah, that's good. Most of the neck will be covered, so I'm not gonna be too fussy about it. Here we go. Ooh, Ian's awesome dude. Yeah, he is amazing. He knows ZBrush just through and through. I'm not at that level yet. Plus his energy is like very, you know, inspiring. You can transfer the fiber mesh's curves and convert to guides in next gen. If that works for you, yeah. Yeah, that's a cool approach. If you prefer styling and grooming in ZBrush. Ian Springs is the artist you mentioned before? Yes, but I also mentioned Ian that we have on the channel, Ian Robinson. So I mentioned two Ians. The one that works with fiber mesh, I believe, is Ian Springs. Although might be wrong. I remember one of the digital artists that is like very known for their portraits works with fiber mesh. Let me quickly save. How much hour you practice for character artist back then when you're in school? Okay, so how much time I dedicated to art when I was in school? So that's a good question. You see, I'm a bit of a workaholic, and I don't mean it in a good way. Although at some point it did get me a job, so... But when I was at my school, when I was getting the 3D diploma, the curriculum was around like 3 hours a day. We would sit for the lecture for like an hour, and then we would do our stuff for 2 hours. And then you have to take it back home and do some extra curriculum work at home. What I did is, instead of going home and doing maybe some extra few hours, I would stay in university and I would ask different groups of people that would come in, you know, for the next class, like film production people who would deal with, you know, cameras and stuff, filming. I would ask for them if I could grab a spot that was empty and still do my stuff, and they were really chill about it. So I would end up staying for the whole day. So maybe I would work on my personal stuff for 10 hours a day, because I would leave quite late. Maybe more than 10. Yeah. During the assignments time, I would arrive at 9 AM and leave at around 11. So, not saying that it's healthy, but that's how much time I would spend. Right now, I'm nowhere near that level. Again, I'm getting old. I cannot survive off Red Bulls and coffee anymore. Not that anyone should. I'd say a healthy balance should be in place, but also like 1 hour is not enough, unfortunately, a day. Because there is this thing, I don't remember the technical term, but it basically means you will achieve better results or like more progress if you sit and do something for 3 hours straight, so like continuous learning curve, as opposed to spending 1 hour each day. So maybe 3 hours every second day, you know? It would be better. I know it sounds like a dream case scenario, and it is, because some people have lives, jobs, kids, other responsibilities, and I do too. But that's the dream case scenario. Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent. I think Autodesk bought XGen from Disney. I don't remember if it was Pixar or Disney that made XGen, one of them. Yeah, I believe it was Disney. I remember seeing the behind the scenes on Zootopia, and Zootopia was made by Disney. So perhaps Disney? Okay, I've been avoiding it for a while. You know what we need to do? We need to add all of these things and start to work on the contact points. And we need to distress the lever. Okay, hi Layla, hi Sheriff. It's amazing that you know all that software and you're only 23. Thank you. Thank you. I started early. I started learning Blender actually when I was 14. And then I got like an internship in a company back home. And they were using Maya and Houdini and ZBrush and all that industry standard software. Not saying Blender isn't, but in 2014 it wasn't that big of a deal as it is today. So I had to learn Maya. And I did. And then I had to learn Houdini and ZBrush. I actually learned Mudbox first. And that was still a thing back then. I believe people still use it. Just not as many people. And yeah, slowly but surely learned 100 other software that you currently need to know. I'm exaggerating, please don't get scared. If you are just starting out, it's not that bad. You pick them up along the way. You definitely don't need to know all the 3D software to land the job or get into the industry. ZBrush is a good start though, if you're interested in character art or modeling in general. Maya and Houdini, etc. Yeah, as soon as I learned Houdini, and it's a beast of a software if you've never used it, it's a lot to take in. I was like, okay, nothing scares me anymore. This is intense. Yeah, I feel like it was a good kind of like mental, what would I call it? Mental breakthrough. I don't know. I would compare it to, I did bungee jumping on my 19th birthday or 18th birthday. That was a gift from my sister and brother-in-law. And it was a bungee jump from a bridge above water. And you know, it was terrifying. And I loved it, and I went the second time on the day. But the point is, now any height related thing, like skydiving, no longer terrifies me. Whenever I'm like up high somewhere, you know, nothing compares to bungee jumping anymore. Because that stuff is scary. So it's kind of similar to learning a complex 3D software and then being like, okay, anything that comes after is fine. Let me quickly run ZeroMesher because I want to decrease the poly count on these guys. Yeah, it's fine. Water groups. Let's quickly add a layer, polish it up. Actually, yeah, H polish. Quickly adding like a passive damage to the teeth. Not being precious with it at all. So what would be my takeaway from that story that I told? I don't know. Either learn a very complex 3D software or go and do a bungee jump. Both work. Oh. Hi, cool character. Thank you, Kairos. Alex Curry. Amateur tip, consistent sleep. Just saying. I know. Had to learn it the hard way. But yeah, after a long time at school, well, and 10 months at the 3D school, and after a long time of not sleeping well and surviving off energy drinks and coffee, I had to learn. Oh yeah, much better. I had to learn that the importance of sleep and consistent sleep schedules. If you want to make it far in the industry, please get enough sleep. And I'm not talking 10 hours of sleep. 7.5 is the bare minimum, I believe. So maybe get 8 if you can. Have to go, amazing sculpt and technical skills. Thank you for the stream. Have a good one. Thank you so much, Game Artist 3D. That is really sweet. Premium software? What do you mean by premium software? Oh, or crack. Guys, it's an official ZBrush channel. We don't use cracked software here, nor should you. Please don't bring it up. It's an official ZBrush software, and by the way, if you were to stream with a cracked version, it would show. You would be able to tell. There are some signs that appear on the screen that tell you that it's a cracked software, so don't do that. Hello, see my comment please? Yep, just read it. I thought about learning some Houdini. I see more and more studios use it, actually. For grooming, for obviously muscle sim, skin sim, so many other things as well, to the point that it carries the whole VFX pipeline for so many studios that they started migrating like all the animation done in like Maya and blah 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 to Houdini. So they could like assemble the whole scene together there and render it out of there, because all the VFX will be done there. I'm not saying all studios do that, I just have seen select couple that do that. Yeah, so just wanted to quickly mention about the last 10 to 20%. that you might work at the sculpt for hours and you wouldn't see much of a change, and that's okay. Because what we're trying to do is little by little, like a percent by percent, was even like 0.1% improvement of appeal, which is why the stream is called Exploring Character Appeal. And appeal doesn't necessarily mean how pretty the character is. This character sure isn't pretty, but there is a certain character appeal that draws you in. Maybe not with this skin shade. But yeah. Can be shape language, like form language, the color scheme, the silhouette, readability, materials, lighting. Wait, I'm getting deep into that. But all of those factors play into making your character look appealing. Anyway, someone gets bungee jump as a present from siblings, probably that they does not love this person a lot. No, that meant that they actually knew me very well, and they knew that I wanted to do bungee jumping for a while. So don't be so quick on your judgments. My sister and brother-in-law knew me well, especially at the age of 18. I think I will pass on the bungee jumping. No! Try it. It's terrifying. And it's great. I don't know how to sell it. It's the most liberating feeling that you'll ever feel. When you actually take a step, or you jump, or even when people push you off, like, because at some point, some people that can't jump need to be pushed because they already paid for it, you know, and they will enjoy it, but they can't quite get there, so the instructor, the guy that like put on all the security belts and whatnot, they'll give you a nudge, and it's amazing. I don't know. Okay, what would be the fastest way to add these stapler thingies, like metal stitches? Fastest way for me would be to append a donut or a ring, if you will. Now let's reconstruct some subdivisions. I reckon this is fine. Delete higher. This should be plenty. Click hidden. Now yeah, I'd like to get more of this sort of shape. So from this to this. Now let's crease. Crease edge loop, just so when we subdivide it, the border stays in place. And we're good to go. Maybe I will push it down a little bit. Now, if I were to go into brush, create... Oh, you can't see it because of the chat. Sorry, chat. Brush, And make sure you're not like this on the model. Make sure you're facing the model head on, because when we do create an insert mesh brush, it will take into consideration your orientation of the model, and that's how the default will be inserted. So I want the default to be inserted this way. You can also try this way, but it will depend on your particular case. Usually this works better. Create insert mesh, new, and voila, we have a new mesh, insert mesh brush. Let's go in here now. What we can do, let's quickly do this. Awesome, works. And they can vary in size, right? And we'll manually go over them later to add a little bit of a difference, to break up the CG aspect of it. If you aren't happy with how high it sits on the mesh, you can adjust it as well. In the brush settings, go into depth. Oh, you can barely see it. Yeah, brush settings, depth. And here you can embed it slightly lower. And now it should sit a bit more tightly on the mesh. Thank you, ma'am. You're welcome. Have you done hair in Houdini? I keep hearing about it, but I haven't looked into it yet. So the quick answer is yes, I have, but it was years ago. It was in 2016 or so. I guess it's as good of time as any. How would I show it? Well, this one was done in Houdini, even though it's an old one. I still keep it on my ArtStation just to show some progress. So this was 6 years ago. This was Houdini. It's overly blown out, and like there's so many things I would have done differently at this point. But it was a fun concept to work on, and it was a lot of hair grooming. Don't ask me how. Oh man, I even like made the smoke emitter and the wooden pipe. Everything was like, I think I sculpted the guy in ZBrush and the chicken, and then modeled glasses in Maya, maybe? So you can see it's like a mismatch of the glasses. That's what he had on the concept, which doesn't make sense to me now, but it looks funny. Anyway, all the grooming was done in Houdini. It was hella fun. And I had some more projects, but I took them down. Well, due to me growing as an artist. And I see that some artworks no longer represent my skill level. so I have to let go of them. Even though they weren't bad artworks, they were okay. They just don't show what I want to work on or get hired for anymore. Things like objects or animals. Not to say that I don't like animals, it's just human stylization appeals to me more. How often do you bungee? Once. That was enough. I'm not like a junkie, bungee junkie. No, once is enough. I reckon maybe another time in your life, maybe when I'm 30. When I hit the middle life crisis, is that what they call it? So obviously we don't see what the stitches look like on this side, but obviously he's supposed to have them. Because how else would the hat stay together? Same goes for the back. If it's a bit too thick. Again, trying not to overcrowd the hat as well. We wouldn't want the stitches to just be everywhere. Doesn't make sense. Plus, he probably made it himself. So they wouldn't be very nicely placed. I don't believe he's what's the word? A tailor. Oh my god. Couldn't remember it. I wanted to say carpenter for some reason. I was like, no, that's not the right one. My bilingual brain amuses me sometimes. Insert a couple here. Now we can split hidden and reconstruct levels on this one. This one can be mixed with this one once we're done with it. Yeah, so I reckon it's pretty good balance. Now to not to have to select each one of them one by one, what I'm gonna do, just click on this polygroup, Ctrl-Shift-A to select the full mesh. Ctrl-Shift-A basically looks for connectivity between the polygons, and if you even just select these few, Ctrl-Shift-A will bring out the whole mesh. Now Ctrl-Shift-Drag will invert the selection. So we can either split hidden from here, or we can actually split hidden from here. So that way, well, actually it didn't matter as much because it didn't have any subdivision levels. Anyway, now we have two separate subtools that we can merge together, and I should start naming my subtools. Merge down. Awesome. Let's call it thickness. What is this one? Okay, I'm not gonna bore you guys with the renaming. I'll do it off stream. Maybe, if I don't forget. You're a brave woman. Thank you. Looks nice. Is it completely different workflow than XGen? Yes. Let's say so. Here, oh, they all are similar. You need the guides, and you need masks to drive like density and length and whatnot. So that structure remains the same. It's the tools that you use that are different between Houdini and Maya. I'd say Houdini is more of a non-destructive workflow with the node-based system. And then there are also more things you can do with Houdini. Like I've seen, imagine a fringe of a character, and you're like working in the fringe, right? And you want to cut it right about here. So in the way that you would do it in ZBrush or XGen or Natrix, blah blah blah, you would probably trim the guide curves that define the length, or you would paint the mask. The way you can do it in Houdini is you can append like a sphere or any object like a cube, and you can actually cut the hair with a primitive, similar to what ZBrush does with live booleans. It's really, really cool. I don't know if XGen can do that. Maybe it can. But I haven't seen it done in XGen. Okay, layers. Activate it. Remove this one. Ooh. Well, we don't have a lot of time. Maybe what I could do is quickly what was that brush called? Okay. Sorry guys, being a bit quiet. Just gonna add some creases to the borders. some support loops as well. Well, now we can move it and put it in place. Again, kind of matching it with the proxy that we made earlier. Not in this stream, the previous stream. If you missed it, you can check it out. Thank you. I will look into it. You're welcome. Probably close this one. Awesome. It's coming out quite stylized, which is not quite what I want. Maybe we can play around with the inflate factor. Or polish my groups. Make it slightly a bit thinner. Or potentially we could do this trick. Let's subdivide it one time. Polygroup, polyloop. You'll see what I'm doing in just a second. So I'm breaking the bigger pieces of lumps into smaller polygroups, so to speak. Okay, so that's good enough. Now let's go to stroke and untick border and creased edges, just polygroups, and ta-da! It gives us a lot of curves. Now what we can do, we can select any brush really. I just have a specific one. Any curve brush, that is, can be this one. Play around with the size of your brush, and what it will do, it will spawn a curve tube or hair curve tube on each one of these curves. Yeah, and it's suddenly way more realistic than it was before. Let me try and play around with this brush that I have here. Yes, it's just a thin semi tube, I think. Semicircle tube. I like it. Let's try one more. This one is even more defined. Maybe we can turn off the size. Yeah, that could be cool. Alrighty. So that's a quick little trick on how to add more hair strands without placing them one by one. Now we can mask it. Oh, mask it, invert it. Maybe play around with how offset it is from the surface. You can turn on topological and move them individually, maybe to break up the silhouette slightly bit. Don't go too crazy though. Ma'am, did you use Maya software to create the character model? I did not. This character was made fully in ZBrush. You can check out the full series from start to finish if you just go back to the live streams, and in the past 2 months we've been working on this character. I started from a sphere, I'm pretty sure. And this is how it's going. Cool. Quite happy with the result. I just need to remember which detail curve brush I used, because I most likely will forget. Oh, did it place? Yeah. I believe it placed a double curve each time, so I'll have to clean this up. Delete those ones. So this happens sometimes. I think it was due to me having the symmetry on, so it was my fault. Okay, mostly cleaned it up. If I find any more doubled ones, I'll make sure to get rid of them. For now, this is fine. What else we could do is let's hide these big chunks, and while we're big chunks. Okay, I see what it did there. Let's delete this side and just deal with this one for now. Now go to polygroups, I just have it here, and groups by normals. And you can set the max angle in your settings if you want. And now with this group normal trick, we can go to crease and crease polygroups. So now when we hit D, it will not smooth out the borders of each of the strands, and they will retain the shape a bit more nicely. Now we can just mirror and weld it. And you can do the rest for... You can do the same for the rest of the beard. It's a similar thing that I did to the eyebrows, although it was a little bit different. I think we started with a base mesh extracted. Yeah. And then we dragged some curved tubes on top. But yeah. This is kind of the way I would go about making the hair for this guy. Emperor of Cheese. Well, look who's back from the Netherworld. It's Layla. You have been MIA for a while. I haven't seen you in a while. I've been here. You know? Sculpting away at this goblin. How are you? Okay. Take a look at him. There was this one brush that I saw a couple of guys use on ZBrush Summit presentation for Horizon Zero Dawn. Ooh. It was slash something. Yep. Slash 2? What they did, okay, so this one doesn't have thickness, but we can apply it. Really, let's crease poly groups, and let's decrease the crease level to something like 1. Dynamic subdivision to something like 4 or 3. 4 sounds good, and now apply. Awesome. Now what they did was, let's store morph target. Oh yeah. It's kind of what they did. They kind of wiggled the brush around the border. Let's clean this up. That's how they got like this organic feeling for the borders of the leather on her outfit. If you guys haven't played Horizon, what are you doing? But yeah, anyway, it's they were breaking down the costume for Kid Aloy when she's like, I don't know, 10. And she's wearing all of these garments made out of leather. And it was such a cool trick. Also, depending on which direction you go, you'll get different result. So I'm kind of trying to get this broken up edge result. Only happens when you use it towards one direction and not the other. Oh, maybe we can quickly go over all the patterns of leather. If I have time, actually don't have time. Oh no. I started a bit later today because of the whole voice thing that you guys couldn't hear. Oh well. Okay. Got to add the layer, but that's fine because I'm quite happy with the result. If you guys want to see it, here it is. Good question. That was a great sea summit. Yeah. The one that I'm talking about is from an earlier ZBrush summit, not last year's one. Last year they talked about Horizon Forbidden West. And the one that I watched was from Horizon Zero Dawn, and it was a different summit from one of the years, I don't remember. But if you type in ZBrush Summit, Horizon Zero Dawn, you'll find it. You make it look so easy, you're a good teacher, thank you. Like, this trick truly is easy, but the payoff is great. So if you ever need to make something look leathery, now you know how to. Awesome. And with that said, I will unfortunately have to go. She says as she moves on to making another leather piece. Just a tiny bit of breakup here and there goes a long way. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, staying with me on this journey. You guys know it's a bit of a different medium for me. Not medium, style. Because I'm mostly proficient with stylized characters, but I wanted to try something semi-stylized, semi-realistic. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you can follow me on Instagram, ArtStation. I have my YouTube channel as well, which hasn't been getting as much love in the past year. I'm not selling it, am I? But I have been putting some work into my Telegram channel. If you are on Telegram, you're welcome to follow me. Yeah. Thank you. What do you think about removal of perpetual licenses? Save the questions for the next time, because I accidentally overbooked and I will be streaming next week, same time, same place. Usually I stream with a break of 2 weeks, but this time you guys will see me again next week, so save all of these questions. Just work on this one spot real quick. That's a consistent lie I tell myself, yeah, all the time. My god. Looks cool, thank you. Thanks, Layla, that was fun. Don't miss me too much, I'll be back. Please be back. Yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day, night, wherever you are. Bye bye.